This conference will now be recorded.
All right, let's get started. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eric Altizer, Marketing Manager here at OCC. Welcome to our March Connected21 webinar about our military applications. We're excited to have you with us today. For everyone's convenience, all odds have been placed on mute. If you have a question throughout the webinar today, please email us at info@occfiber.com, or you can submit your questions in the chat feature. We have some great information on our products and how they fit into a variety of military applications. Alicia Hamilton, Business Development Manager of Military and Government Markets, will be giving our presentation today. Alicia is based out of our Dallas office. Alicia, we're all yours.
Okay, thank you for the introduction, Eric. So we'll just jump right in and start talking a little bit about OCC. And when we're talking about military or deployable harsh environment solutions, it's really important to know the history of OCC because we really set the standard for these type of products in the industry. We were founded in 1983. We are proudly headquartered in the U.S., and we built our reputation originally designing tight buffered fiber optic cable. And at the time, it was specifically for the DoD. And we're still the only company in the industry with a QPL ground tactical cable. So in a nutshell, what this means is that our cable goes through outside testing to meet all the mechanical requirements set by the DoD for their qualified products list. And so that really makes us the premier manufacturer of ground tactical cable, not only for the military, but across all markets. We have 3 different locations in Roanoke, Virginia, which is our headquarters and our cable manufacturing facility. Asheville, North Carolina, where we design and manufacture copper and connectivity solutions. And then Dallas, Texas, that's where I'm located, where we design and manufacture our harsh environment connectors, our reel systems, and our overall fiber solutions. Our quality systems at all 3 locations are ISO 9001:2015, and Dallas and Roanoke are both MIL Standard 790. We have an international sales presence, and our products are used in 99 plus countries. Now we serve all vertical markets, not just military, but all vertical markets, anywhere from a commercial enterprise environment, such as building infrastructure, data centers, outdoor, and to harsh environments and outdoor environments. We do offer end-to-end solutions in all of these spaces, anywhere from copper to fiber, standard jumpers to deployable plug-and-play solutions. So as you can see, we truly align with our tagline, from tactical to practical. So now we'll go over our agenda for today. So today we'll talk a little bit about our military background and our certifications. We'll discuss some specific applications, and then we'll get into product sets that fit into these applications, from both turnkey assemblies to the component level products like cable, connectors, and reel systems. We'll go over a few resources, and then we'll have a short time at the end for any questions. So let's talk military and certifications and qualifications for just a minute. Now, as I mentioned, OCC set the standard for all things tactical by forging the path with deployable fiber cables for the DoD and the development of tactical fiber connectors. We have a whole host of QPL products, as you can see here, and our tactical assemblies are CCOM approved, and our reel systems are the preferred solution for the U.S. military branches. I'll get into a little bit more detail on the upcoming slides on some of that, but now we'll go ahead and jump right into the application. So for today's purposes, I want to break the applications into structured and field deployable solutions. We do it all at OCC, but I'll highlight some of our product sets for both types of these applications. So first, let's talk structured. This would be networks put in place that are typically static versus deployable, but it can also be a static network in a deployable application. So as we're going through the applications, you'll see both of those. And like I said, OCC excels well in all of these areas. So this could be anything from a communication shelter, a mobile command center, both of those being in a deployable situation, a data center on a military base, a missile or rocket launch backbone, and then shipboard communication. So now we'll look at a few of those product types that fit into these environments. So these are just a very few offering of our fiber optic products that go into more of a structured cable environment. So we do just your standard duplex jumpers. We do multi-fiber MPO trunks. We do larger multi-fiber trunks that aren't pictured here that go up to 288 strand count. We do the secured and keyed solutions, so those solutions for your nipper and zipper network. We do the wall mount fiber enclosures, rack mount enclosures, fiber splice cassettes. And like I said, these are just a few of those offerings. We have a whole enterprise guide that goes over all of these offerings very well. And then these are just a few of our copper offerings as well for that structured cable environment. So again, copper cables, shielded and unshielded jacks, the field terminable plugs, face plates, surface mount enclosures, NEMA enclosures. Our NEMA enclosures, we will completely outfit these with your pigtail assemblies to your adapter plates. So completely designed for you just to truly have a plug-and-play solution there. Now I'm going to move on to the field deployment, more of a military deployment application. So this is just a really good overview of a deployable situation. We'll get into a little bit detail on each one with product sets for each one in the subsequent slides, but this is just kind of an overall view. So of course you've got your whole system here from your missile launcher to your communications antenna to your communication station, your UAV, your shipboard. And we play in all of these areas, mostly ground tactical for like the unmanned aircraft. I'll get into that a little bit more, but we manufacture products that go into all of these areas, whether it's in your communication shelter as a static environment or as a ground deployable application. So this is another example very similar to the previous one where we're talking about the ground tactical deployment application. And so I'm just going to highlight a few products that we would use in this kind of application. So any of our hermaphroditic connectors is where you're going to see here where the cables connect to the communication shelter, to the antenna. You may have an RJAC solution, harsh environment RJ45. I'll get into the details on some of these in the presentation, but you're going to have, you're going to need to pay out your cable with a deployable reel, maybe a transit case. You may have a NEMA enclosure on your communications antenna. So all of these types of, and these cables are going to need to be tactical, that'll withstand foot and vehicle traffic. So these are all products that we offer. Same kind of scenario here. It's still going to be a ground tactical. Your ground station may have some more of your static structured cabling solutions in it, and then you're going to have a ground tactical cable going out to your communications. And same type of product set here. You may have a different kind of connector with a different fiber count, with a different plating, but we do all of these types of assemblies. And this is just another example of an application. This is a ship-to-shore application, pretty self-explanatory. These are usually with a pure side plug-to-plug assembly where your ship is pulling up to your dock and has to download their communications. We can manufacture all of this and design and manufacture a complete solution around this. Another application is going to be your shipboard application, and we do the 28876 connectors. We have the only MIL ST QPL locking MIL ST in the industry. We use the breakout cable with our QPL termini on the 28876 connectors. So this is another example of, again, a structured cabling situation, but in a more tactical footprint based on shock and vibe requirements. And then lastly, just want to talk about like military test ranges and antenna applications. So this is another situation where you've got your base control station where you're going to have your more structured cabling in here, kind of a mini data center, if you will. And then you're going to have your downrange cables going down to maybe different NEMA enclosures that are up on your antennas. And we, again, manufacture all of these products that fall within this. And then another thing that we're doing a lot of is antenna work as far as 5G in the tactical space as well. So I'll get into that on talking about one of our connectors that really goes well into that fits well into that space. Now, next I want to jump into our deployable solutions, and then we'll get into the components that make up these solutions. Now, most of these types of solutions are custom, made to order. We typically have the ability to turn these types of assemblies quickly due to the fact that we manufacture all of the components. So we manufacture the cable out of Roanoke, the connectivity out of Dallas, and so we have a pretty good lead time and pricing structure due to that. So these are just your regular discrete connectors here. Anything from an ST to an LC, your typical standard connectors like you would need for your active equipment. And then in your middle picture here is the IP68 rated LC assembly, so you're getting a little bit more rugged, a little more tactical. And then we go up to the 48 fiber harsh environment hermaphroditic connector solution on deployable reels. And I'll get more into detail on all of these. It's just a quick overview of assemblies. Now I want to go back to cable for just a minute since we're talking about components now. And as I mentioned, OCC was the first to develop indoor-outdoor type buffered cable. And with us being the only QPL cable in the industry, all of our cables are made with the same manufacturing process. So you can be really assured that you're going to get the most tactical cable in the industry. These three types of cable are most commonly used for deployable applications. We have our distribution, our breakout, and then our high capacity HC cable. And those go anywhere from 2 to 72 strand count. And they're all flavors, single mode, OM1, OM3, and OM4 with multiple polyurethane jackets. We can also do an FRP with a rodent protection as well. So we can do that. We can do different colors. Really, our cables are custom to whatever your environment is needing. So I won't go too far down the rabbit hole on the cables for purposes of today, but just know that OCC is known in the industry for the most robust cable in the industry. And now I'll move on to our harsh environment connectors. So this slide is really just to show that we do everything from a single fiber MIL-ST to a 48 fiber MHC-T3, and I'll get a little bit more into this connector, but we do everything from single fiber to 48 fibers in a tactical footprint. So we have 6 different harsh environment hermaphroditic or genderless connector offerings that range from 2 to 48 channels. You probably know what hermaphroditic means, but basically all of these connectors are male and female, which means in the field you don't have to worry about grabbing the wrong end. And they can be easily daisy chained to extend the length as needed. So the COTS 83526, the Easy Mate, and the Pure Side and the MHC-T2 all use ceramic ferrules, varying sizes similar to a commercial ferrule. Our COTS 83526 typically has a zinc nickel plating, and it is the standard ground tactical fiber optic connector for the military, but it's used in all markets. and it can go up to 12 channels. Then we have our Easy Mate connector, which can go up to 24 channels. Now it's in the same shell size as the 12 channel COD 3526. It just uses a smaller termini. We typically use a black anodized plating on this connector, and it's also available in the Easy Mate EX, which is an ATEX certified connector for explosive atmospheres, gas, and dust. So the Easy Mate EX is used a lot in the oil and gas market. And we can also do a fiber copper hybrid in this cable, and actually all of these connectors we can do a fiber copper hybrid if the application needs it. Then we have our pier side connector, which also goes up to 12 channels. It's very similar to these two types of connectors right here. It was designed around a Navy spec for pier side application, hence the name. But it can be used in many applications as well. It's typically manufactured with an aluminum hard anodized with Teflon plating, which gives it the strongest corrosion resistance to salt spray. So again, for the pier side name. And then we have the MHC-T2 and the MHC-T3, which are the newest additions in our connector families. The MHC stands for mini hermaphroditic connectors, as the industry demand is always smaller, lighter weight, and higher density. The MHC-T2 can go from 2 to 8 channels, and the 8-channel size can accommodate any combination of fiber and copper hybrid. So this is a great connector for that. Now the MHC-T3, I'm going to get a little bit more into this and highlight this as a product offering on the next slide, so I'll wait and go over that in a minute. And then let me talk about the expanded beam for just a second. The termini, this is also a hermaphroditic connector. It's used a lot in the European market. The termini are housed under a lens, and the light is actually expanded through the lens versus a direct contact connector like all the rest of them here. Now, the advantage is it's a lot less susceptible to contaminants, but it does have a slightly higher dB loss due to the lens. But all of these connectors are compatible with our cables, and they can be manufactured of multiple platings depending on the environment, and can typically be serviced in the field. There we go. So now I'm going to highlight just the MHC-T3. I just want to talk about this one real quick for just a minute, as we're seeing a lot more applications in the tactical space for it. So unlike most tactical connectors with the single fiber termini like you see here, the MHC-T3 uses the MTO or MTP technology, which is a multi-terminus connector. So these are the MTP ferrule right here. And as you can see in this expanded view of it, you've got 12 fibers in between these two holes. You've got 12 or 24 fibers. So we can go up to 48 fibers in this connector with a hermaphroditic footprint. And it also gives us the ability to have an APC polish. So if you've got a really high, a really tight return loss budget, it's a great connector for that. Now we're seeing this, and as the industry is changing, as bandwidth is increasing, and the need for high bandwidth and more real estate, this connector is really becoming a widely used connector, not just in the commercial space. We used to use it a lot for the broadcast market, but now we're seeing it a lot more in the military market. So we've used it in some aerostat applications for cameras. We've used it in some antennas for some 5G applications. So we're seeing this a lot more. So that's why I really just wanted to highlight it today. There is a hybrid option available. So that is a possibility in this connector as well, that we can use the pins for the electrical contacts. So that's an application that we could talk about if that is something that you're needing to look at. And then I'll go over just a few of our non-hermaphroditic standard connectors, but more of the tactical connectors as well, just to let you know about those. So our LJAC connector here is your standard commercial LC. It's in a harsh environment IP68 rated shell. It's a great solution when you have small fiber counts but need a robust solution. It's not really the solution that we would recommend for multiple deployments. It's really used more in a kind of a static but harsh environment. So it's great for cell tower and satellite applications. That's where we see it used the most. And then we have our RJAC, which is our harsh environment RJ45. It's also IP68 rated. This in its Cat 6. This connector is also transversely filled, so with or without the dust cap engaged in the fill, which is a very important feature to eliminate the risk of water penetration inside the board being transferred and damaging your active equipment. This is a feature that really sets us aside from all of the other suppliers in the marketplace. Oops. Bear with me for a second. I used the mouse and scrolled too far. There we go. Our iris connector is our breakaway connector, and it can go up to 12 channels. It was originally designed for traffic pedestals to have a breakaway option to minimize the damage and allow for quick re-engagement versus having to re-terminate or replace a cable. We have used it in a couple of military applications. We've used it on a military vehicle where it's had to break away quickly from the vehicle, but that's not where we typically see it, but I did want to mention it. And then our F-Link connector here is our multi-pin circular connector that can be customized for multiple fiber copper configurations. Now we'll move on to our Mars reel systems. And this slide is really just a quick overview. I'll get into a little bit more detail on all of these, but this is just a really quick overview of our Mars reel, the ALRS, and then our deployment option. So the Mars reel system was the industry's first lightweight reel. We developed it specifically for the Army, and again, it grew into a solution for all markets. For many years, the Army had been using an old metal reel. Some of you may be familiar with it. Anyway, it would bend when it dropped and rust. So at their request, our engineers really went to work on this. And after several iterations, the reel was tested to the Army CCOM spec, approved, and added to the top level military drawings. Several years back, the Army even performed a value engineering proposal, and their finding was that based on weight, durability, pricing analysis, and most importantly, soldier feedback, the OCC Mars reel was considered the preferred reel for the U.S. Army. We're still the only company in the industry who has a lightweight reel that is approved to the Army specs. So as you can imagine, this quickly took off with the Marine Corps and other branches, both domestically and abroad with our allies. The picture shown here is a 500-meter reel, but is modular and goes up to 1,250 meters. The flange size stays the same, and the drum just extends to accommodate the higher cable counts. It's made of a high-impact polymer material, and it features an integrated handle, built-in divider to spool the cable and ensure the smooth transition right here where you're spooling your cable. It also has a space for a cleaning kit and specific to the connectors for your custom assembly, and it's stackable with other Mars reels. So these are a few just images of what I just talked about as far as the stackability. This is when we were doing the drop test on it. It's got your integrated hand crank here, your connector storage. It's very easy to handle. And then you've got your fiber cleaning kit with it as well. And then I want to talk about the Mars accessories for just a minute. So we have several different options for paying out cables. We've got our tripod for our 100 to 300 meter reels. and then our T-frame, which is available for the 500 through 1250 meter reels. It comes with or without a brake, and the brake adjusts the cable drag to prevent overspin. Now, the Mars lightweight reel stand here is also another industry first. We're the only ones who have this reel stand, and it was developed specifically for the Army as well. And it weighs in at a third of the weight of the old RL-31. I'll show that to you a little bit more and have another slide on that, so I'll show you that a little bit more. And then for the 500 meter and above, we have the transit case with the acquisition cradle. So this, you can just simply take the lid off and you can deploy your cable straight from the case. There's even a mouse hole, so you can put the lid on while the cable is deployed to eliminate the elements from getting to your cable. And then we also have storage transit cases for all reel sizes. So as you can see, we have a pretty comprehensive set of deployment capabilities. Now, I just want to talk about the reel stand for just a couple more minutes. Again, some of the highlights of it. This is a picture of the old RL-31 reel stand. And again, the military came to us after we developed the Mars reel and said, you know, we'd really like to see what you can do with a reel stand for us, because these things are causing injuries and they're super heavy and just can't get repair parts for them. So again, our engineers went to work and came up with this reel stand. It's 22 pounds versus 58. It locks in all positions without any tools required. We've got this great little pouch for it that you can put your brakes and your handles in. It folds up and you can pay your cable out like a wheelbarrow. You can lay it flat for a two-man stretcher carry. So it's got a lot of amazing features to it. So this is something that we're very proud of. I'm very proud of our engineers who developed this. And you can also, you can see here that it has a split axle. So you can put two 300-meter reels on this and deploy them in two different directions as well. It also comes in a single round axle as well as a single square axle. So multiple configurations for this. It's been a great product for us, and we're very proud of this product. Now, lastly, I just want to talk about why OCC for your military solutions. So from inception, we've always been technology driven. We've had 107 patents granted or rights acquired over the life of the company and its subsidiaries. Our team is among the most experienced in the industry. Excuse me. We have engineering groups at all three locations, and because we're small, and that is another thing, we are a certified small business, but because we're small, it makes us very nimble to respond quickly to your needs. Specifically, when you're talking about these type of custom solutions, we spend a lot of time between our business development and our engineering group really making sure we understand the applications and that we help design in the best solution for your application. And that's why we have a lot of different connectors. We have so much different cable because of that, because we've grown those product offerings based on that feedback from industry. So, and then we're really the only company in the industry that offers a fully integrated solution. And since we, again, manufacture the cable, connectors, assemblies, and reel systems, we have more flexibility to supply you what you need, when you need it, and at a competitive price, and ensuring excellent quality. And then we also offer a repair and restoration program. This is really meant to be a value add to our customers when you may not need to replace an entire assembly. We may be able to evaluate it and save you time and money there. So we offer this service for other manufacturers' products as well. So I just want to say, when you choose OCC, you can be assured you are deploying the best in the industry. And with that, I will give it back to Eric.
Great information, Alicia.
Oh, I forgot about this slide, Eric.
Okay.
I wanted to mention that all these products that we've gone over in this presentation, just because it's for the military presentation, all these products fit into multiple vertical markets like industrial, mining, oil and gas, broadcast, etc. So I'll give it back to you, Eric.
Okay. Thanks for the great information. Like she said, we have tons of resources, lots of different products, and all information about these products can be found on occfiber.com, as well as in the military brochure and any of our other industry solutions brochures. So be sure to also check us out on social media, where you'll find news, products, promotions, and webinar information and things that are coming soon. Let's see if we have any questions. Looks like we have one question, Alicia. Can you use MHCT3 with breakout cable?
We don't use MHCT3 with breakout cable. We typically use that with our HC cable. Because it's an MPO, you have to have a 250 micron cable to terminate into the MPO. So no, we don't use it with the breakout. That's why we developed a deployable HC cable for that.
Awesome. Looks like all the questions we had. We appreciate everyone joining today, and we hope you got some good information. We look forward to talking to you again next month. Thank you.